Incredible amount of momentum to this story in the last 24 to 48 hours even, Matt. And I think it's really, really interesting that we did have that chance to sit down exclusively with the Secretary of State. And I asked him not just about Iran, but also the knock-on effect to the region. As you know, Saudi Arabia looking to open up to nuclear technology, what that could potentially mean for an arms race in the region. I asked him to weigh in on the fact that so many of these Arab allies are now looking to Asian markets and that China's become very, very involved in the region. I also, of course, pushed him on what's going to happen over the next couple of days as he meets with leaders in Russia. Now, when I asked him about Iran, I was specific in the sense that I wanted to understand how the Trump administration truly feels about putting that kind of military hardware into the Persian Gulf. It's a small area, as you know, and there already is a heavy presence from several different sovereign militaries, as well as, of course, the Gulf Arab states themselves. I asked him what he thinks that the Trump doctrine will look like with regards to Iran. Listen in.
President Trump's been clear since the beginning of his administration. And then a year ago, and just a bit over a year ago now, we withdrew from the nuclear deal. It was a terrible deal. All kinds of bad things happened during the deal. Increased terrorism, more missile launches, and a radical increase in malign behavior from Iranian-supported entities that range from the Houthis to Hezbollah. All of that occurred while we were in the JCPOA, and President Trump is determined to change that behavior from the Islamic Republic of Iran. We laid down in May of last year the 12 simple things we're asking Iran to do, and the pressure that you see, the economic pressure we have applied, the sanctions that we've put in place, the efforts we've made to help Iraq stand up its own independent sovereign government, the support we provide to Lebanon, are all aimed at the same thing. Iran is the major destabilizing influence in the Middle East, and we aim to fix that.
And walk me through what led you in recent weeks to this uptick in terms of the military pressure that you're placing in the Persian Gulf.
What we've seen from the Iranians is increased threats, and we've seen this reporting. It's real. It appears to be something that is current, that is things we're worried about today. So we've done all the right things to increase our security posture to the best of our ability, but we also wanted to make sure that we had deterrent forces in place. So in the event that Iran decided to come after an American interest, whether that be in Iraq or in Afghanistan or in Yemen or any place in the Middle East, we were prepared to respond in an appropriate way.
There's a whole lot of military hardware that's going into the Persian Gulf right now. It's a place that I've lived over the last 10 years. And in terms of this uptick, there are a lot of fears, whether they be in the military itself or externally in the region, about potential for miscalculations there. How worried are you?
We're not going to miscalculate. Our aim is not war. Our aim is a change in the behavior of the Iranian leadership. We hope the Iranian people will get what they finally want, what they so richly deserve. The forces that we're putting in place are forces we've had in the region before. You know, we often have carriers in the Persian Gulf, but the president wanted to make sure that in the event that something took place, we were prepared to respond to it in an appropriate way. And as a Secretary of State, I wanted to make sure that we had all the political diplomatic tools in the right place, and we want to make sure that we can provide the president with an option set in the event that the Iranians make a bad decision.
So the Secretary of State there making it very clear, Matt, that they're very much focused on the Iran file right now. Now, of course, Mr. Pompeo was, of course, supposed to be meeting leaders in Russia in the next couple of days, Vladimir Putin, as well as his foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov. Mr. Lavrov, of course, very much involved in the last round of the JCPOA, and a lot of conversations surrounding what exactly would, actually be on the agenda. Would we be talking about the Mueller report? Would we be talking about election meddling? All of these kinds of things. And now we've just heard in the last several minutes that Mr. Pompeo has decided to skip the first leg of that trip and head to Brussels. Now, of course, right now the E3 are meeting there. We're talking about France, Germany, and Italy. And of course, at the end of the day, if he is very, very focused, as we've said, on this Iran file, it makes perfect sense that he would stop over in Brussels before meeting with President Putin to talk about Iran with his European counterparts. Matt?
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.